Good evening, Broncos country. We are live. But before we get started, I want to make sure we have all of our platforms included for tonight's discussion. I think I'm seeing these green check marks come across, and they all are there. Welcome in, everyone, to another installment of the Orange and Blue View podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Ron White. On that side of me, you know him, you love him, my co host, Mr. Dylan Von Arts. Dylan, after a win on Thursday night football for your Denver Broncos, how are you doing on this week? An extended, uh, call it like kind of those bigger bye weeks, if you will. How are you doing?
Not doing too bad, and I guess we'll just get this out of the way at the top of the show. I talked around a little bit before. Due to scheduling changes with my job, unforeseen scheduling changes, this will be my last show for OBV for a little while until I can get my schedule figured out. So, sorry to y'all who don't get to see this beautiful face here for a little while, but but yeah, so you'll still see me in the morning shows popping in every once in a while. But as for now, this will be my last show on at least OBV for just a little bit. But let's get back to Broncos. Man, that was an ugly win, and we've said that probably almost every week this year, which is we'll see how sustainable it is. But man, hey, a win is a win at the end of the day. Lots to clean up. Still going to be critical of this team, but very happy to be 8-2.
Yeah. Uh, 8-2. It's top of the AFC for now, which is great. But you mentioned it, Dylan. On offense, this team has some work to do. They have a long way to go. But although they escaped with that win on Thursday, a win is a win nonetheless, and it's so good just to see how the defense is playing. It's just phenomenal. Let's see who we have here joining us tonight. We got Mr. David Youngkin coming in with a super chat. Thank you, David. It's always good to see you, my man. He says, I wonder if it was the Bills, Kansas City, or the Eagles at 8-2 and their offense played like this. If the media would be so inclined to say that they sick. Yep. And as of a year coming back in, and Bo has a winning record of 18-9. So let's take a deep breath. David, you bring up all great points here. I still think, Dylan, it's the national media is still not on board with the Denver Broncos. I would at least say most of the national media, just because obviously, yeah, I still think that a lot of the national media aren't big fans of Sean Payton. And also, I think they still want to remain correct on their pre-draft assessment of Bo Nix. And now that the struggles are there and they're there in prime time, as we saw on Thursday night, it helps their argument. But David Youngkin, you bring up a good point that, you know, the quarterback, this is year 2 for Bo Nix. And again, there's been some bad, as we've seen, but Dylan, in my mind, there's been more good than bad over the course of, if you include last year and this year so far. Bo still has a lot of growth and a lot of development. I like what I've seen so far for the most part, but there are some things, especially the footwork, Dylan, especially the footwork and how it ties to the routes and how he's overthrowing or underthrowing a lot of these receivers. Obviously, it doesn't help that receivers are dropping passes too. Um, but I think, David, everyone just needs to take a deep breath. This is year 2. And, hopefully with better coaching, hopefully Sean Payton kind of looks at himself in the mirror, Dylan, after Thursday night's performance and see how they can improve. I really do hope that they can, at least give a better showing against the Chiefs who come in town on November 16th.
they're going to need to have a much better showing if they're going to beat the Chiefs and possibly lock up the division this early into the season. And I say early, we're about a little halfway through. But thank you, David, for coming in. And yeah, he has an 18-9 record. Take a deep breath. Absolutely. But we do need to make sure that we are holding not just Bo Nix, the whole offense has kind of collapsed in on itself. And obviously, that starts with the quarterback. That's the most important position. Whether right or wrong, they're going to get the most ridicule. But like you mentioned, Bo's not setting his feet. He's been very inaccurate. Receivers are dropping balls. There's terrible play sequencing at times.
Mm-hmm.
Sean Payton. Um, it's not just one thing, and a lot of these things are fixable, which makes it actually quite frustrating because these are very fixable things, and we're 10 weeks in, and we're still seeing penalties. Bo Nix is still not setting his feet. Receivers are still not stepping up. It's been pretty terrible on the offensive side of the ball. So the Broncos need to get in sync. And this mini bye is where Bo Nix took off last season, and maybe we see that again this year because he has regressed from last year in terms of consistency at the very least, because that's what's killing this team is just no consistency, whether it be Bo Nix, whether it be the play calling, whether it be receivers, or even getting yards, sticking with the running game as well has been a very big problem.
Yeah, it's the offense doesn't flow, Dylan. There's no identity. Now, you would like, I mean, based on the numbers that we've seen so far and how the games have shaken out, the run game needs to be the identity of this team. I mean, J.K. Dobbins is what, top 4, 5 in rushing. So that mean that's the story, and that should tell you kind of how this team should be viewed. It's just a matter of, will Sean Payton stick to that to kind of help his quarterback out more? Now, again, I know he loves, the passing attack, but I do think that should be a part of the conversation of using more of the running game to help with this offense as Bo continues to develop. But again, David, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Let's see who else we have. We have the Papa Bear, Mr. David McElrath, coming in with a super chat. Thank you, David. It's always good to see you, my guy. He says, "Good evening, Broncos country. Hashtag 13 and 4 or more." Yes, David. Thank you so much. Glad you're sticking with that. And again, I'm going to say it again. That is within the realm of the possible. 13-4. If they continue to stack these wins, 13-4 AFC West winners can happen. Can happen.
I hope so, man. I mean, God, we got to break that Chief streak, and this seems like the year to do it. With their, I believe, were they 5-4,
5-4.
Like this is the time to do it. This is the time to put your boot on their throat, and it just has to happen this week. I know there's multiple games still down the road, but this would be a statement. And honestly, this game in general is the measuring stick. People are calling the offense fraudulent or the team fraudulent as a whole. We know the defense can ball. Can the offense step up to that next level, or shoot, even just be a middle of the road offense? That would take this team to heights that we haven't even seen this season. And that's what's you can kind of cling to, is that they've yet to play their best ball on offense. Yeah, outside the Cowboys game, but not a great defense, but we're talking about contenders here. We're talking about Chiefs. We're talking about Bills. We're talking about Colts. We've been close. I don't want to be close anymore. I want you to win those games. And, there's been excuses made for bad play on offense throughout. Oh, well, this team was coming off a bye week. Oh, well, the Broncos just had to travel internationally. Or, oh, it's a division game. That doesn't matter. If you want to be a championship caliber team, or hell, even just a playoff caliber team, you got to beat those contenders. And your quarterback has to look not necessarily undeniable, but he's got to look competent. And he hasn't for a handful of these games this year. So hopefully he can get out of his own head, Bo Nix that is, and figure out what it is he needs to do to settle himself and take on contenders like Kansas City.
Yeah. And not only just, take on those contenders, Dylan, but you're supposed to beat the teams that are inferior to you, like handedly.
Yes.
Obviously, they did that with the Cowboys. You mentioned the Bengals, so you've seen flashes with certain games, but it was a 2-point win against a Justin Fields led Jets. It was a 3-point win on Thursday against a 2-7 Raiders team. So, they have to beat those teams handedly. Um, and, hopefully throughout the course of the rest of the season. Now, this is where the schedule gets, you know, a bit tougher. Obviously you have the Kansas City Chiefs twice. You still have that matchup against the Chargers, Green Bay in the mix. And Jacksonville, although I think that's a winnable game against Jacksonville, they're still in, the playoff picture as we speak. So this will definitely be a test to see kind of where they are. But again, David, thank you for coming in. We appreciate it. And Dylan, hopefully with these games that are coming up, we hope that your Denver Broncos are not the underdogs in a lot of these games. And speaking of underdog, everyone, football season is in full swing. And underdog is the best place to get in on all of the action. Are you ready to get off the bench and into the game? Then head over to Underdog, whether you're into basketball, football, hockey, or any sport in between. Underdog is just the best place to get in on all the action all season long.
That's right. Playing underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like rushing yards, receptions, touchdowns, and more. Get your picks right and you could win up to 5,000 times your cash.
I have so much fun playing Underdog and winning money while watching football. That's a touchdown, you guys. Download the Underdog app today and sign up with promo code MHuddle to score $100 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code MHuddle. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog. Will you be next?
18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 HOPE line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
All right. Shout out to Underdog. Let's see who else we have here. We got the Ronk coming in. Thank you, Ronk. It's always good to see you, a member of the Mile High community. We appreciate you. He says, "Good evening, Ron and Dylan on Orange and Blue View. Go Bo Broncos." Again, Mike, thank you always for coming in. We appreciate you joining us. And String Guy, another member. Good evening, Broncos country. Thank you, String Guy. Good to see you as well. And MBLEX Test Prep, another member. Thank you, thank you. Which he is always here to party, and we're here to party with you. Partying with, the fellow of the Broncos members. So thank you, thank you, thank you for coming in. Let's see, another member here, James E. Thank you, James, for coming in. Appreciate it. Says, love the Broncos, Denver Broncos for life. Can't wait to beat the Chiefs. Yes, yes, yes. I'm right there with you, James. It's time to focus on getting this division. It's the crown is ours this year. So hopefully they can go back to work and definitely get ready for Kansas City, who's coming into town on the 16th. But thank you for joining us.
Yeah, and it's
All right.
like I said before, this is the year to do it. And the crown is there to snatch. The Broncos just have to go and do it. They can't just, oh, well, if it's obviously hypothetical, they lose to Kansas City this coming week. Oh, well, we got some winnable games down the road. We'll just back into the AFC West crown. No. They have to go take this thing. And I think they can do it. And they're in position to.
Yeah, I mean, Kansas City, again, obviously you have to worry about Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, but they can be had this year. I mean, you saw what, there's always a good matchup with Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. So you saw the Buffalo and Kansas City game. And I think, our defense, if you just pressure Mahomes, I mean, that's kind of your recipe there. Now, I know Steve Spagnuolo was probably looking at that game on Thursday night. It's like, this offense? Well, but, I think our defense will be able to definitely would like to hold the Chiefs to 20 points at maximum. But yeah, hoping for a good game. But thank you, James, for coming in. We got Mr. Roy Osborne from Facebook coming in. Thank you. Says, good evening, Mike Tomlin. I mean, Ron. Bo to Dylan as well. Thank you, Roy, for coming in. It's always good to see you talk, my guy. All righty, Dylan. So let's talk about the Broncos offense. And if you were Sean Payton or Joe Lombardi or Davis Webb, what do you think would help this offense? How do you fix it? I guess what are you prioritizing first to kind of fix the issues that you've seen so far?
So first and foremost, obviously, there's going to be a lot of talk about quarterback in general up until, we can fix some things there. Bo Nix needs to settle his feet. The inconsistency with his throws has to do with the inconsistencies with his feet. Now you need Sean Payton. You need Davis Webb to really work on him with that, because we saw the beginning of last season, obviously rookie, didn't look very good with his footwork and was off target. But then that second half is where he took off. It's where he settled down. And I don't even say this as a joke. They might need a sports therapist or some kind of anxiety management, because he just seems to get lost in his own head after, say, the Broncos go 3 and out once or twice to start the game. He seems to spiral a bit. And I'm not sure that's some kind of performance anxiety. And someone has to rein him in, whether it be a quarterback's coach, whether you bring some outside help in. It might sound ridiculous, but it's coming to that point where it's like, this dude is just way into his own head. And I see people say, Sean needs to let Bo play like Bo and all this stuff. It's like, well, Bo's not playing like Bo because he's too much thinking up in here, overthinking things, trying to play Superman. And he doesn't have to do that. He doesn't have to do it all on his own. So first and foremost, we gotta clean up the footwork, because that fixes accuracy immediately. I mean, those deep balls, you want to see him and Franklin connecting on. It's like they haven't even played in college before. Bo Nix has targeted Franklin 24 times on yards 30 plus and have connected only twice. That's inexcusable. So, and that it goes back to footwork. It goes back to being in his own head, sensing pressure that's not even there a lot of the time. There's been plenty of games where he's had to move out of the pocket, but he just needs to settle down. I don't think this is necessarily a play calling thing. Well, there have been bad play calls and sequencing and what have you. First and foremost, he needs to settle his mind and his feet.
Yeah. And I'm going to respond to that shortly. Gordon coming in. Thank you. Says, fixed. I'm honestly thinking it will take longer than everyone thought. For now, don't blink. And yeah, Gordon, I again, it's, when it comes to quarterback development, it takes some time. So I do think it's going to be a little while longer, and especially to Dylan's points, which I agree with all your points, Dylan, on the footwork. That's not going to get fixed, during the course of the season. Now we did hear, in the offseason, he did work with, I think a few of those, I guess, coaches that kind of help with the footwork and such. And obviously talked to Drew Brees and such to kind of help with that. But again, this is going to be something where, it's going to take more time to iron out. And I'm right there with you, Dylan, in the sense of he's so anxious in the pocket. The feet are so unsettled. And with Sean Payton's offense, it's, the footwork arc is kind of married to a lot of those route concepts. And so that's where you're seeing, you know, the jumpy feet moving in the pocket, and you're seeing a lot of the overthrows or the underthrows. And I just think if he can at least, somewhat settle down in the pocket, because we've seen plays where he stands in a clean pocket and the throw is right on the money.
Mm-hmm.
So just kind of doing that more consistently will definitely work. Also, I brought it up earlier of just run the ball more. And, I think more, and again, I know he does a lot of the mixed formations with, a combination of the shotgun and under center. I kind of want to see a little bit more under center, and that's kind of where that running game can kind of help.
Yes.
And also let Bo run more. At least until you can, get some of the stuff with the footwork figured out. But I do think there's an opportunity for Bo and Sean Dillon to kind of work through some of these kinks. And again, it's just a matter of settling Bo down. And I think you can settle that down with him running the ball more. Obviously, you have J.K. Dobbins, which hopefully the foot injury isn't too major. We'll see what happens there from that hip drop tackle.
Yeah.
And Harvey to kind of settle him down more. And then you can play action off of that as he tries to, kind of settle down in that pocket to deliver a little bit more accurate passes.
Mm-hmm. And there's this one comment I want to bring up, kind of in relation to this.
Yeah.
DeAndre Witherspoon comes and says Bo Nix, he's referring to, overwhelmed by Sean Payton, putting too much on his plate. I got to push back on this a little bit here. I think initially, sure, but Sean Payton, if you're watching back through the games, you're seeing simple, even mesh and smash concepts that Bo's still not seeing what he needs to be seeing. They have, I don't want to use the word dumbed down because that's not what it is. They've simplified it to half field reads, one look reads, and all these things, and he's still not getting it. And I think it just goes back to this dude is in his own head. I know everyone wants to blame one thing or another. It's a multitude of things because Bo Nix will miss a throw, but then when he's on, the receiver will drop it sometimes. Cortland Sutton, I'm looking at you. Troy Franklin, I'm looking at you especially. But I think it just comes back to this dude's in his own head because a lot of these concepts, just watching back through the all 22, it's not a lot of hard stuff and not a lot of hard reads. And we're still not seeing the production from it. So I just wanted to push back on that just a little bit. I do think Sean is demanding of his quarterbacks, but welcome to the Sean Payton experience is what I'd say to that.
Yeah, I'm with you as well, Dylan. DeAndre, I don't think he's putting I think you've seen that settle down a bit. Now, beginning of last year and actually at the beginning of this year, you can say that, right? With, a lot of the personnel changes and, some of those concepts. So it was a bit much. But I'm looking at the all 22 as well, Dylan, and guys are open. I mean, if Evan Ingram's open, Bo's just missing him. Or Franklin's open, Bo's just missing him. And again, I'm not trying to make any excuses for Bo. Obviously, at times the offensive line didn't really hold up. There were a few of those times. You have Miners out for a little bit with that illness, and whatnot. But again, when he's in some of these clean pockets, again, it goes back to the footwork. It's just not settled enough for him to hit these receivers accurately. And so again, I just think that foundation, that footwork foundation needs to be addressed. as they move forward. Now, again, it's not going to get corrected, fully by Kansas City. We all know that. But again, just kind of use things to kind of help, lessen that, kind of mitigate that a bit, so that they can at least have some sustained drives. Because Dylan, it was just so embarrassing. The Broncos didn't get their first down until midway in the second quarter.
There was 6 minutes left. Yeah, it was
midway. That is ridiculous. So that something has to give. Something has to give. So, but yeah, DeAndre, I thank you for that comment. Again, I see what you're saying there, but I tend to push back a bit as well. That did happen, but now I think you're starting to see, how simplified the offense is. Bo just needs to hit his targets. We got Phil coming in. Thank you, Phil. It's always good to see you from Facebook. Says, good evening, Ron and Dylan. Sorry to see you go, Dylan. Hope it's a short departure. When is Bo going to stop looking so anxious to start the games? He looks like he needs to take a chill pill. #Buckham. What are your thoughts on this one, Dylan? Again, I know we've alluded to some of this, Phil, but and again, thank you for coming in. But any additional thoughts?
Yeah, I'm just not sure. Like I mentioned, maybe you need a sports therapist. Maybe you need some kind of anxiety management regimen, because I'm not sure what's going on. I think he's just too in his own head. Like I mentioned, you get a couple 3-and-outs, and then he starts getting mad, and he starts internalizing that, and he just needs to settle. I'm not sure how we're going to get that done. I mean, we saw it in a handful of games last year, and that gave me hope because, listen, as many of you know, I wasn't the biggest Bo Nix fan coming out of the draft, and some of those inconsistencies are showing up, especially under pressure. He wasn't a great quarterback under pressure, but at Oregon, you didn't really get to see that because he was protected very well, a lot of short passes and whatnot. But that's what I'm really trying to cling to, because as critical as I am of Bo Nix, I want him to be the guy. And I know these mistakes are so fixable. He just has to take the bull by the horns and fix them. We can talk about, oh, it's no big deal. Like these are easily correctable, but you still have to go do it. And I hear about Bo's work ethic, and I hear about all these things. It needs to start translating to the field. I get it. Second-year player. But he did come out of college. He had like the record for amount of experience in college games. We need to start seeing it. We need to start seeing more consistency. I know it's year 2, and maybe it's too much to put on him. That's the NFL. Sorry. I mean, if you don't perform in your first 3-year window, you're going to get replaced. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think Bo can figure these things out. He just has to put that work in. And to this point, we haven't really seen any consistency throughout the year.
Yeah. And Phil, I mean, again, it's a good question. I do think he does need to, take that chill pill. And again, I alluded to things earlier of helping him to not look so anxious. Running the football, doing some play action, having him run more. I think that'll kind of ease him into it early. To whereas when he's in that pocket, you hope that the feet are a little bit settled and he can make those accurate throws. But I just think they need to, kind of start off with more runs and play actions to kind of settle him down. I don't mind the screens as much, Dylan. I'd rather not see as many of them. But screen here and there is okay. But just kind of helping him, so he can ease into the game. And, I think, Dylan, if that happens with easing him into it, you might start to see fourth quarter Bo throughout all 4 quarters. But yeah, it's a good question, Phil. Hopefully they kind of look at that as well as a part of this offense to help them out. But thank you for coming in, Phil. We appreciate it. All righty, guys. Let's see who else we have in the chat. David Youngkin coming back in with a super chat. Thank you, David. Says Bo looks like he wants to play backyard football like Russ did. Yeah, especially that first interception, Dylan. Ooh, that was bad. That was bad. I was like, Bo, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing?
2nd and
But
15.
that's yeah,
You got another
yeah.
down to play.
You got another down. Again, maybe you can make an argument. Yeah, if it was third down and it was getting close to halftime, okay, chuck it up there. Maybe let's see what happens. But you had another down, and that was just an ill-advised throw. So that was just a perfect example. But yeah, David, it does look like that at times.
Yeah, definitely. And it's more so, you do see him run around, and I know he tends to do better when he's on the move. But and I hate to bring up this, but like only Josh Allen and Mahomes are making these level of throws that he's trying to make. You can't cross body everything. You can't trick shot. I brought it up, man. Like you can't do trick shots on every throw. That's just not a viable strategy. And Bo Nix doesn't have the arm talent to do those throws consistently. So he's doesn't. Well, I mentioned at the top of the show, you don't have to be Superman.
Yep. And I think String Guys mentioned what you were talking about earlier, Dylan, as it's a lot of it's mental. It's in Bo's head. It's a good point there. DeAndre coming back in. Facebook. Bo needs to be better this year. Two lots of growth and development. Got to take the good with the bad. And Sean has to put his ego and stubbornness aside and simplify things. There are a lot of dirty hands in this. It's everything. I'm pissed at the 3rd-and-1 play call. 2nd-and-8, RJ gets 7 yards, and Sean calls a trick play there, trying to get cute instead of cute. So I'm going to agree on a few things here, DeAndre. And again, thank you for coming back in. Again, we alluded to that. I think Sean has simplified things for the most part. But I would agree that the stubbornness of Sean is still there at times. And yeah, that play call, like after that blocked punt and that play call on 3rd-and-1, Dylan, to do a pass when your offense didn't do next to anything, the whole game leading up to that point, it was just dumb. I'm gonna be honest with you. It was just not a great idea. But yeah, I think the point remains, DeAndre, of it's a year 2 for both. And with Davis Webb and Sean Payton, hopefully they can coach a lot of those bad tendencies, even getting into the remainder of the year and into year 3. So he can be a better quarterback.
Absolutely. And yeah, I did mention earlier he is a little older, but in terms of the NFL, it's a different game, and there's still room for him to grow. And of all the aspects we've already mentioned, footwork, accuracy, what have you. But yeah, Sean Payton isn't clean in this either. He is very stubborn. I don't think anyone would disagree with that statement. And that's what I mean. Like, I feel overall, and I know not a lot of people will necessarily agree. I think Sean Payton has actually called a lot of good games, but there's those ones that really stick out. That 3rd-and-1 to Cortland Sutton. Why are we trying? This is the Raiders. Why are we trying to get cute? We don't have to get cute to beat the Raiders. Run it up the middle, man. I mean, RJ was having a pretty good game, and he only ended up with 77 yards. He could have had plenty more. There was a lot left on the field, but it's easier said than done because these teams are coming up because they're seeing what a lot of us are seeing. Bo Nix is rattled. They said, okay, we'll stack the box and we're going to dare him to throw because he's in his own head and he's going to scare himself into a bad play. So that's maybe the Broncos are scared to run at those heavy looks, but honestly, they might have to start doing that.
Yeah, definitely. And we got Stu. Mr. Stu McPeak coming in. Thank you with a generous super chat. It's good to see you, Stu. Says Bo is still a young and developing quarterback. He will figure this out. We have a good coach. And I think that's the take-home point here, Stu. Very young, still developing. And again, it's been a lot of good. I mean, I know he's kind of in a slump as of now, but it's been mostly good. And I trust Sean Payton. I trust Davis Webb. to at least, help him so that he is much improved as the season continues. But yeah, great point.
Yeah, and he's still developing. We've talked about it plenty already, but he's just got to make those steps, and that's, I think, the most frustrating part is that we know he's right there in terms of it's just your footwork, man. Plant and throw. I'm gonna bring it up every chance I can. Fix that footwork, dude, because you are right there. Those plays are right there. These games, some of them would probably be blowouts. Like, we even let the freaking Bengals hang around longer than they should have in that game. The only very convincing win has come against the Cowboys, which was a surprise to me, especially, I mean, our defense lights out, crazy to shut them down. But yeah, it's very correctable things. You just have to go out and correct them. And I think Bo can do that, but got to put it into practice and onto the field.
Yes, for sure. For sure. And again, Stu, thank you so much. We greatly appreciate you. And we got Glenn Ashley coming in from Facebook. Thank you, Glenn. Says, good afternoon, Ron and Dylan, 8-2. Lots to improve on and grow in. We want to be playing our best football in December playoffs. We owe Kansas City time to take the crown. Yes, Glenn. It's the crown is ours. It's that time that we take over the division, and again, sitting pretty at 8-2. Hopefully, the Broncos can whip some Chiefs' butt on the 16th, and then continue to, have this steady play and have it stack these wins moving forward to the end of the season. But again, it's a good time, Dylan, in the sense of you have this mini bye, Kansas City, then you have a bye coming up. So in terms of like the schedule at this point, guys can get some rest, and then hopefully during this bye week as well, they can maybe kind of look at things to see where they can improve upon, and then really kind of gear toward this late November and early December push for the playoffs. But yeah, on offense, they still have a lot of work to do. But thank you, Glenn, for coming in.
Yeah, man. He says it completely right here. Take the crown. Don't back into the AFC West title. You need to go take it from the Chiefs. I know they were a blocked field goal away from beating them last year. This year you have to take it. There's no they could squeak it out fine, but man, they just absolutely need to steal this crown from the Chiefs and take what's theirs this year. This is the time to do it.
Yes, for sure. And we got Mike Davis coming in. Thank you, Mike. It's good to see you as well. Says, anyone else hopeful PS2 can play after this mini bye versus the Chiefs? That's a good question, Mike. I don't know. I think selfishly we all would want him to. But honestly, I do think that they're going to play it safe and wait until after the bye for the matchup against the Commanders. I've watched some episodes on the Close on Sundays podcast, Dylan, and it seems as though he's still, obviously rehab, still nursing that pec. I mean, I know he said he'll be back in no time, but I just think, given kind of how the Broncos have handled injuries, I think they, rather be safe. And again, that's why they didn't put him on IR, because that was also an option. But I do think they're gonna maybe have him out for Kansas City, that week and another extra week with the bye to rest up in preparation for the Commanders.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think it's gonna happen, and that's really sucks against the Chiefs team who has all their pass catching weapons healthy and unsuspended. I mean, having Worthy, Hollywood Brown, Rashee Rice, and Travis Kelce, that's going to be a formidable team. Thankfully, We got Talanoa Hufanga, who's been playing lights out, dude. Best free agent signing in quite a long time. And Dre Greenlaw, although on limited snaps, has looked amazing as well. You're never going to replace Patrick Surtain while he's out, but they've made a pretty good case so far to steady the ship and make sure that they're not giving up too many big plays even with Riley Moss playing back there, Johnny Barron being the rookie, and McMillan as well. And Abrams Drain, give him his credit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, PS2 doesn't play. Because, Jade Barron has been great against tight ends this year. And I guess I'm curious to see how they handle the Rashid Rice and Xavier Worthy matchups. But yeah, again, Mike, good question. I just don't see them. I just know how the Broncos are, and they're probably going to play it safe. But thank you for coming in with that question. And we got Camden coming in with a generous super chat. Thank you. It's always good to see you as well. He says, "What's up, Broncos country? I don't get why Sean Payton isn't using Pat Bryant more. And is Sean Payton forcing Franklin into this offense too much? And is that hurting his development?" All good questions. Dylan, I'm going to hand this one to you first to get your answer.
Thank you very much, because I've been wanting to talk about Troy Franklin here a little bit. And I kind of talked to a couple of the other guys behind the scenes, about this, and I just don't think Franklin's in a role he should be in. I think he's a third or fourth wide receiver on a team. Terrible against man coverage, but he dices it up against zone, which is a nice piece to have, but he shouldn't be a marquee piece. I know people, and as Camden mentions here, and thank you for coming in and sharing this with us, Camden, that maybe it's hurting his development. I just don't think Franklin's that guy, and he should be in a position to be that guy. And we've kind of seen that, because even when balls are getting thrown to him and they're hitting him in the hands and he's dropping them, or he disappears some games because, like I just mentioned, he is not good against man coverage. He is towards the bottom of the league in that sense. He's just not a consistent enough person. And it's a reason why I wanted Jalen Waddle here, because we can't talk about, oh, well, Bo Nix is struggling because receivers are dropping his ball, and then going, well, Troy Franklin just needs more help, and Marvin Mims. It's like, maybe we need to take a deep, long look at this receiving core and say, hey, maybe they're not as good as we are hoping for them to be. And I saw some comments earlier, oh, well, Mims will come back and he'll fix it. I don't really buy that. He's been largely a gadget guy. He can't run routes worth a damn for the most part, but he's got explosiveness, so that's why he's going to get on the field. And as he should. I want to see him on the field. I want to see him grow. But we're in year 3, man. You're not routing anyone up. I don't expect you to be running routes like Justin Jefferson, but man, it's pretty rough. We don't have the supporting cast here, and I just don't think Franklin's that guy. And I think fans have kind of put this more kind of exaggerated his potential, I guess is a good way to put it.
Yeah. I don't understand why he doesn't use Pat Bryant more either, Cameron. That's a good question.
He's got strong hands.
He raved about Pat Bryant during the draft process. And honestly, Dylan, I think Pat Bryant has earned himself more opportunities. Just how he can, some of those blocks, like,
oh yeah,
him and the blocking, it's just great to see on some of those runs. And when he's open, he normally catches the football. So you would like that. Now with Franklin, it's, again, I wouldn't say I'm ready to give up on Troy Franklin, because he has improved since last year, but there's still inconsistency there, Dylan. And you get the 1 step forward, 2 steps back. He'll be wide open, he'll catch a ball, and then the next play, there's no situational awareness at all.
That screen pass.
that screen pass when it's like, why would you even run into who was that?
Sherfield.
Sherfield, yes. Why would you even
Run
run into Sherfield? Like, come on, dude. And so just no awareness sometimes with the drops. So I'm on the train right now. Though again, I'm not giving up on Franklin. While I'm not, I do believe that you should. I want more Pat Bryant snaps as a wide receiver too. Now I think what you're saying as far as the receiving core, it has something. We already know what Marvin Mims is. I mean, Marvin Mims is your gadget guy. He's a playmaker, and I think this 2-game stretch, his absence was noticed to a degree. Obviously, in the return game, you know that, but even on offense, because he does provide an element that defenses have to account for.
Absolutely.
And it's that speed. So I think having him back, in the Kansas City game, would be great. And then again, I want to see more Pat Bryant touches, just because I think he's earned that right. Now, if you want to kind of switch out, have Franklin in it, in some of the packages, that's fine. But I just think, given what we've seen from Franklin, I just don't think he is deserving of it quite yet. So yeah, but I don't know if it's really, I wouldn't say hurting his development, Camden, as far as the use of Franklin. I wouldn't go that far. But I just think, Franklin can sometimes, how can I put this? Set this offense back at times. Kind of giving his play. But yeah, great questions. Great questions, Camden. We definitely appreciate that. All righty. Good questions here, guys. We are at the 47
Pop and chat tonight, man.
part. So we're gonna, again, this is your final warning to get any other questions, comments in. Yeah, so people here mentioning no Marvin Mims. Running the ball here, just kind of going through a few comments here. Kind of, I think we're all in agreement with some of these. And we got a super chat from Bootboy90. Thank you for coming in. Says the 2000 Ravens went 5 games straight without a single touchdown. But we'll be fine. Run the ball, less personnel groupings, more up-tempo. Yes, Bootboy. Thank you for coming in, and especially that last portion. More up-tempo. That's what your quarterback likes. That's what he thrives under. You would think that Sean would use it more. Because that's what works for him. So I think that should also be integrated more into this offense, still, and of more up tempo. And of course, with the up tempo, that's less of a chance for switching out your personnel. So guys can get a hot hand. You want Dobbins in there more often so he can get a hot hand. And remember what they did against the Bengals, Dylan. Each running back got a drive, got a series. So even going back to that, I think would help. But yeah, all great points here, Boot Boy. Thank you for coming in again.
Yeah, thanks for coming in, Boot Boy. And yeah, more up tempo. Obviously, you can't do it the whole game, but you can do it in spots and be selective with it. And there's times that the Broncos probably should have employed it and have it. And then to the point of running the ball, they absolutely need to. But I think it always comes back to they're going to stack that box and they're going to get pretty heavy looks to stop the run. So until the passing game can prove to be a threat, you're going to see a lot of crowded boxes. But the Broncos are going to still have to try and run on those heavy personnel groupings regardless.
Yes, for sure. And again, Boot Boy, thank you so much for coming in. Let's see who else. We got Mr. Phil McLaughlin coming back in. Thank you, Phil. It says Bo is practicing for Dancing with the Stars. Ridiculous. Yeah. I mean, he has those happy feet, Phil. He's just anxious. So again, but I like the I like the joke here. But yeah, thank you for coming in, Phil. Appreciate it. William coming in. Anyone hear any more news about Dobbins? No. So again, Dylan, I'm not sure if you've heard anything recently. And again, yep, David coming in with the super chat asking the same question. But all I heard was he's going to get a second opinion on the foot. So we know that he was out for a little bit, and he came back in to finish the game, and it seemed as though he was fine. I know he ran on Twitter about the hip drop tackle. I know he's mad about that, but yeah, I think I heard that he's going to get a second opinion. I think from there we'll see kind of how it unfolds.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything new to my knowledge. I know I believe I heard the second opinion though, as you mentioned. He better be ready to go because RJ Harvey is a better receiver right now than he is a running back. And I don't trust Tyler Bidet to make any plays whatsoever. I shouldn't have even brought up his name, but hey, let's honestly, they talk about the blocking. I think he's made anywhere between 5 and 7 blocks, so not super substantial. Let's just get McLaughlin in there. It literally cannot get worse.
I mean, it can't. Yeah, I just I'm watching and I'm like, why is Bidet even in? Like, just get Bidet out. Give Harvey those snaps, man. Like, or like you said, activate McLaughlin even. I mean, we kind of already know what McLaughlin is, but I'd rather that than having Bidet being active on game things. I just feel as though it's such a waste of a roster spot.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, Dave. Yeah. But thank you, David, for coming in. We appreciate it. Let's see who else we have here. The chat's popping tonight, guys. So just just bear with us here as we kind of sift through all of these. We got Camden coming in with a super chat. Thank you for coming back in, Cameron. Says, honestly, I wouldn't mind putting DeAndre Tillman at X receiver. He has moves. Yeah. Tillman has some moves, Dylan. With those 2 picks so far, I mean, he's running them back for some solid yardage. And how he's able to kind of find the hole. It's been actually really fun to watch. So yeah, I'm not opposed. Wouldn't be opposed to that. Maybe on a few snaps, here and there. But yeah, it's been great to see the big man, picking up 2 interceptions so far.
He's putting the moves on people too. I believe he's got 4. He's forced 4 missed tackles.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, I see X receiver. Put him at tight end. I think we need a little more help there with in general, just because Troutman, I mean, can't catch, can hardly block, and when he does block, it's typically OPI. So he's holding, and he's holding up positive plays. So I'm honestly, with the plethora of pass rushers we have, put him in.
Yes, just put him in. I mean, what
On
could
a trick
be
play at the very least, right? Like, if you want to get cute, Sean, let's at least put the big boy in there.
Yes. When the offense is working, when we're moving, yeah. Not like the Lions, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mike the Ronk coming in, runs back to the middle. Yeah. And I think there was that play, the Raiders game where I don't know if you saw, Dylan, where Alex Singleton was like, "Come my way, come over here," so you can kind of go in and go. So I thought that was funny. All righty. Thank you, Mike. And then we got Mr. Todd Ostendorf can catch, so maybe give him the ball. Yeah, on offense, play him at tight end or fullback. That's what he was saying.
Yeah,
either tight end or fullback. Would definitely help. All righty. Thank you, Todd, for coming in. All right, guys. I'm just going to do a quick sift. I think we've gotten all of the super chats.
There's one comment here I do want to look at just real quick. It is a long comment. I'm just going to flash it for a second because it's covering up our faces. I'll read through it, then I'll drop it here. So Aaron Nelson Company says, what you guys need to look at is John Elway's stats in the first 25 games. and Eli and Peyton Manning's first 25 to Bo Nix's is better than Elway, Manning, and in some ways missing by a couple hundred yards in total passing yards. Bo Nix is on pace. You guys need to leave him alone. I will not. And get on Peyton, because this offense, he's not an offensive coordinator, and an offensive coordinator can actually call plays. So I'm just going to drop this real quick because, like I said, it's covering my face. I don't really care for the, but look at what John Elway did. Look what Peyton Manning did. Look Tom Brady did in their first games. Different eras, different teams, different styles of play. I understand the point that's trying to be made generally there. There's been a lot of quarterbacks who started their first season pretty good, fallen off and never come back, or fallen off and then got right back on track. So I don't really care for this argument very much. And I know it sounds like I hate Bo Nix, the amount that I'm talking about his deficiencies, but it goes back to, I know he can fix them. That's what's so frustrating about it. It's pretty simple fixes. So it's not trashing him. You can be critical of a young player without it being hate or whatever the hell you want to call it. I'm just being critical of him because I know he can be better than he's currently playing. I'm not going to, give him every excuse. I'm not going to give Sean Payton every excuse either, or any of the receivers. But the era's comparison to me is just not a really apt one, because it's just such a different game these days, especially much more catered to quarterbacks, where they have been these days going through high school, into passing camps, into college, and then into the NFL. They have more opportunities than ever to be close to not necessarily a finished product, but kind of raise their floor in a sense. So I do expect more from Bo, having as many college starts as he had. And I'm going to be critical of him. And maybe I'm talking critical of him now, but you better believe on game day, I'm rooting for him to have his best game.
Yeah. Yeah, Aaron, I mean, I see what you're trying to say here. But the game is more than just about statistics.
Context.
And, given, how Bull has played so far, I mean, I've seen those graphics, him against Elway, him against Manning. And, I mean, if we're trying to do yards, touchdowns, interceptions, I see what you're saying. But in order for Bull to be even better, the mechanics have to get fixed. And I think that's the point that we're trying to make here. It's the fundamentals that have to get fixed. Now, you're right, because again, we're not absolving Sean Payton at all. And he is definitely to blame for some of this. As far as the sequencing of plays and such. I'm with you there. But all we're saying is, Bo, the mechanics have to get fixed. You have to make sure your feet, your footwork is as crispy clean as it can be. So when you step up in the pocket, the throws can be more accurate and you could even have more touchdowns. So if the coaching staff can help him develop from that regard, in addition to some other things, as a whole on offense, I think, he has that potential to live up to what Sean said at the beginning of the season. Dylan, his head coach said he can be top 4, top 5 quarterback in the next couple of years. So the coaching staff needs to make sure that they give him that hard coaching, that development, so that he can be in that conversation. And again, Aaron, that's really all we're saying. This is more focused on mechanics, fundamentals, footwork. But thank you for coming in with the comment. We greatly appreciate it. All righty, guys. Just kind of doing another quick review of the chat. Looks like we've covered everyone here. And the chat was popping tonight. So we greatly appreciate all of you tuning in for tonight's episode. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you have not done so, make sure you subscribe to the Mile High Huddle channel, like and share on all of the platforms. We greatly appreciate it. And if you have not done so, make sure you become a member of the Mile High community. There's a couple different shows and exclusive content for members only. So we greatly appreciate if you do that as well. And if you have not done so, make sure you follow us on X. I am at Ron White NFL, and my partner in crime here is at Dylan Vaughn Arts MHH. Before we get out of here, Dylan has a few shout outs to give you, so stay tuned.
Yes, thank you to everyone who contributed, came in and joined the conversation tonight, kept things rolling. I really appreciate it. And we want to give a little extra love to those who gave us a little extra love, starting with David Yonkin coming in once, twice, 3 times. Crazy. Always good to see you here, my friend. David, Papa Bear McGillrath coming in as well. Phil McLaughlin, Stu McPete, the GOAT. Haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you, my friend. Got Camden coming in a couple times here. Boot Boy 90, David T again, and another one from Phil. So thank you guys for coming in. Always good to see you guys. Keeping this conversation rolling, keeping the lights on here, as the boss man likes to say. Also, make sure to follow the Mothership channel, Mile High Huddle, on Twitter, Facebook.com/Mile High Huddle, and on Instagram at Mile_High_Huddle. Make sure you get those in. Leave us a review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, a 5-star review, and you can get a chance to win some swag, as Chad likes to call it. And if you don't want to wait for a contest, you can always just hop over to mhhmerch.com to get your swag on. But yeah, thanks everyone for hopping in. And I just want to say thank you guys all so much for supporting us. I know I'm not going to be here past tonight, but it's always been a good conversation with Ron. I couldn't ask for a better co-host, and this isn't goodbye. This is just see you next time.
Yes, gonna miss you on here, but like I said, it's been great. It's been great, but like I said, it's just temporary. We'll put it that way. It's just temporary. And we got Phil coming in with a last minute banger, and I think this is great to close us out here. Thank you, Phil, for coming back in. He says, "Let's us be optimistic, but we'll figure it out in the next couple games and be ready for the playoffs. Our defense can play with any team in the NFL. So when the offense figures it out, we will be unstoppable." I couldn't have said it better myself, Phil. Once the offense gets their act together, I think you'll start to see more complimentary football, and that bodes well going into December and into January. And you would hope, with that, they have that shot for the number 1 seed. And Dylan, I do believe if the Broncos do get the number 1 seed, and if they're clicking on all cylinders, no one wants to come to Empire Field at Mile High in January. So again, Phil, thank you for coming in.
Yeah, Phil, with the buzzer beater. And man, yeah, no one wants to play the Broncos at Mile High, especially in the playoffs. And I mentioned earlier in the show, if this offense can even just be top 15, they're going to be sitting pretty. We just got to see it now. We just got to figure it out. And this Chiefs game coming up, it's the measuring stick. Are you for real, or are you winning in fluky ways? We're about to find out.
Yep. We finna find out, as they say. Again, Phil, thank you again for the buzzer beater. All right, everyone. Well, again, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy the mini bye. And we will see you. Well, maybe not Dylan, obviously, but I will see you next time. Until then, go Broncos.
Go Broncos.